Welcome back to Steveisms with Steven. I'm Steve. Today we're going to be watching the Money Game Part 2. Now this is the one that a lot of you guys said that since I have an MBA, a Master's of Business Administration, that you were looking forward to hearing what I had to say about this and Part 3. So we're going to jump into Money Game Part 2. Nice, I'll flash money in one.
Strange time of living in panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old. Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in the nursery.
Ooh, here we go.
She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step 1, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step 2, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste man. 3, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
I'm going to dig further into this in a minute, but my initial thoughts on Money Game Part 2. I feel like I need to hear Money Game Part 1, then Money Game Part 2, because I love that this has the same vibe as Money Game Part 1, even, especially with the chorus and the sound of it all. I feel like if 3 sounds like this, then all 3 of them together will probably sound fascinating and phenomenal, and I'm going to have to buy them, ironically. You found my claw. I have to say, the economics lesson there in the middle with the seashells is dead on. I've taken probably 4 or 5 economics classes: micro, macro, personal finance, finance. I've taken so many economics classes, it's stupid. And I have to say that I really wish that this had been shown, because the way that it breaks it down, sure, it's a bit jaded, but that is really, really spot on with the way that economics works, especially macroeconomics, which for those of you that don't know, microeconomics is the day-to-day expenses, the household expenses. Think of it like balancing your checkbook, which I don't think anybody does anymore, but balancing your account. And then macroeconomics is like world economics, or even just country economics, the bigger economics, right? And the way that companies grow is almost exactly like what it was showing there. I really wish I had a second headset so you could hear what I'm hearing.
Bye-bye, Internet.
He's leaving. My son just decided that he was done and he wanted to get out of here because obviously he can't hear. So I have to figure out a way to get a second headphone so that he can hear. Anyway, let's go back and tear up these lyrics, shall we? This was really, really freaking good. I really love this so much. So good. Love that. Got a lot of flashes here of I think scenes from Money Game Part 1, and then the world burning.
Strange time of living in panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria.
First of all, I love that the lyrics are on screen. It makes it a lot easier than trying to read closed captions. It's so true that as we get older and wiser, we learn that the rich people don't really care about us at all. You know, as long as they have what they need, then you can keep working and you can keep making them more money. And it is very narcissistic, and it does spread like malaria, which I love the fact that it flashes up a little mosquito. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but school was actually created so that we could have more people that were more educated working in factories. I could get into a whole thing on that, but I won't. That's what the education system was designed for, is instead of making us smart little consumers, which is what it's kind of turned us into, it was originally designed to make us smart little worker bees to help make the big man money. Hashtag true story. Let's keep going.
You sit back and watch the show. America, Britain, split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate.
You know, the halls of parliament are obviously a little bit more intimate than the halls of Congress in America, but the idea that the rich are the ones who back up those who are supposed to represent us and lobby to get them to represent their needs, their desires, and their interests before the people who voted for them. It's a real thing. I mean, we're in an election cycle right now in America, and it seems like every other ad on YouTube, on the radio, everywhere is just slam ads against politicians. And what's really interesting about that is that if you should slow down and look at, especially in America, slow down and look at who is behind this. Who is responsible for this, right? So unless it says, my name is Steve Edelman and I approve this message, like unless it says that, then it's not necessarily from that politician toward their other competitor or toward them. It's probably some kind of a super PAC that's behind it, which is part of another PAC, which is part of a shell corporation, which is Elon Musk or somebody big. A lot of times, like the AI industry has really gotten big into backing certain politicians because they want their data centers made. And so they want to find the ones that are like data center friendly. And so they'll back them up on values that they think people will be divided by and vote for. So like, for example, abortion or just anything like that. Any of those things that are very divisive, that's what they will push, when in reality, they don't give a shit about that. What they really care about is the thing that will make them more money or grow their company, even if it screws people over. So they'll get you to vote on something that you think is aligned with your values, when in reality, this person may not be aligned with your values at all on other things. It's all part of a money game. It's all part of the money game.
Needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins.
Okay, so what's interesting about this too, I always say that. Okay, so I usually cut those out, but I'm leaving them in this one because I want this to be a fun game for you. Every time I say, okay, so, leave a comment that says, okay, so, and we'll see if we can fill it with 10,000 comments. I'm kidding.
Or am I?
But so last time for Money Game Part 1, it went rain, 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 rain. And I love how this looks like rain on Mr. H's face here. But I said, a lot of different versions of the word rain. Like, for example, money, make it rain, money, 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 raining, tears rain down, emotional rain. But somebody else pointed out, a few of you guys actually pointed out that it's like the reign of the politicians, right? The reign of the sovereign, the reign of the president, REIGN. And that's a whole nother way, which I find interesting as hell. You guys are so insightful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
But we not gonna blame. It's easier to blame. We point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
It's wild because it's like not so subliminal messages is what this whole video is. So good. I'm sure that this was filmed this way because of it being around 2020 and the pandemic and all that, but my God, it's so good. Thank you for recommending this. Seriously. Oh my God.
This old money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme.
It so is. So here's where we go, people. This is the part that I've been waiting for because it's so accurate. Yeah. Wow. Okay, here we go.
She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall.
So what he's talking about there is the curve of supply and demand, right? There's a supply and demand curve, and they tend to interact with each other, but there's what's called the equilibrium point, which is the middle. It's where supply and demand intersect, and that is where the system is not designed. It's just the way that it naturally goes. It always goes toward the equilibrium, which means the value of the shells will fall. The value of whatever it is will fall. It's inevitable. That's why we get new stuff, right?
Due to the laws of supply and demand, no one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand.
So again, if something isn't scarce, you don't necessarily want it. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It's if I can go out and buy something, I don't know that I'll do it necessarily if I can get it for free. And there's a whole rule of substitution also when it comes to consumerism, which is we go to the store with something specific in mind that we plan to buy. However, the rule of substitution says if they don't have it, we're going to find the right substitution for it. And sometimes there aren't substitutions for it. So here's another great example. I'm going off on a tangent here, but bear with me. I have ADHD, as many of you guys do.
Neurospicy.
And as part of that, I take Vyvanse. Now I've tried, when I first was diagnosed, I was like 14, and they pricked me and took my blood because they thought a blood test is what it took to figure that out. And I was on Ritalin at the time. I've been on methylphenidate. I've been on all kinds of different medications, but the one that worked best for me is Vyvanse. Now, for the longest time, Vyvanse was not available at all in any kind of a generic of it. Vyvanse was, I think, roughly $800 if you didn't have insurance.
$800 for a 30-day prescription
of this medication that I needed. And if I'm not on this medication, it's horrible for me. I don't know if you guys who are on meds can attest to this or know what I'm talking about, but like I feel so bad, not just physically, but mentally. It messes with me. It makes me feel worthless. It makes me feel stupid because I can't keep my focus. So I need it to function. There's become a very serious need for it. Not to mention there are physical withdrawal symptoms that are absolutely horrible.
If the apocalypse happens, I'm really screwed.
So because I now need this medication to function properly in the right way, my body is now trained to that. And there was no viable substitute. Obviously, Vyvanse knew they could hike the price up and there wasn't a damn thing anybody could do about it. Well, there's a certain time period that they have the right to have that prescription. And what they'll do is they'll tweak the formula just a tiny bit so they can re-up that and keep that prescription, and their formula is proprietary, so it can't be made into a substitute. Fortunately, Vyvanse now does have a generic version, which is a lot more cost effective. But this is a good point. The whole point, the reason I bring all this up isn't just to talk about the economics of medication or just how screwed up the pharmaceutical world is. It's the point that supply and demand, like I absolutely needed that. So there were people, myself included, who were willing to see what they could do to get that money together because there was no alternative, right? So in this case, he's talking about how the shells, nobody wants to buy them because there's plenty of them on the sand. If I could get it anywhere, why would I pay for it? Why would I pay anything for it? So in the next few lines, he talks about how to make it seem like you absolutely have to have it. He actually makes a little stab at the diamond industry, and when he does that, I'll talk more on that.
Due to the laws of supply and demand, no one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see.
Okay, so that is actually a direct stab at the De Beers Diamond Company. For those of you who don't know, diamonds aren't actually that rare. Or at least they weren't. But the De Beers Company, and there's a lot of different movies about this, a lot of different documentaries, but you should look it up. They had these diamonds, they had these gems that nobody really wanted to buy. So they got a hold of most of the supply of it, and they started running ads saying that if you love a woman, you'll buy her a diamond, and that the diamond should be at least 2 to 3 months worth of your salary. That's the only way that you can show somebody that you deeply love them. So by saying that this is what they're just telling the populace and having them believe it, that's what made diamonds become so valuable. That's what put them high in demand. Wild, but true.
On the sand, step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than the diamond.
Rarer than the diamond, and the ironic part is the diamond isn't even actually that rare. In fact, chocolate diamonds are literally just muddy diamonds. They're dirty. That chocolate diamond, they made a demand for that by saying, oh, we've got these diamonds that aren't clear. They aren't pristine. They're dirty. So let's just call them chocolate diamonds and sell them anyway. And it works. It works. We believe it. The other thing that this makes me think of is Beanie Babies. Those of you who were alive in the early 2000s, late 90s, there was Beanie Babies were the big thing, and people thought they were going to retire of it. There's actually very famous footage of a husband and wife in a divorce in the middle of court dividing up their Beanie Babies because they thought that was money, right? And it was scarcity of demand. And the backstory behind that is even more fascinating. The guy who created it basically started putting out we didn't have the internet back then, or at least not in the way that it exists now. And so there was no way to tell what was valuable and what wasn't. So he realized, okay, I can create these Beanie Babies, and then we can publish a magazine that will say this is how much these Beanie Babies are worth. And the ones that we are having trouble selling and we have an excess of, we're going to say those are more rare and that you better buy it now because then we're going to retire them and you won't be able to get them anymore. You create scarcity. And then people go nuts over it. They buy the hell out of it. And eventually they wake up to it and realize, oh, wait, this is literally a stuffed piece of fabric with beans in it. It's not worth shit.
2. Gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson, influencers, product.
Hit them like Bronson, and it shows Bronson there. That was fucking great.
Make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson, influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste, man.
Okay, so this is also interesting. It's talking about modern marketing, using influencers and product placement, primetime entertainment. So there's a situation a while back, you guys might remember this, which was Fyre Fest. And they had this idea that they were going to do this huge festival. So they paid a bunch of influencers to literally just put a color on their screen, and everybody wanted to know what this was about because everybody just started posting this square of a color, and that square was for Fyre Fest. And then so there was drumming up this huge demand because everybody wanted a piece of it, and wanted to get a ticket to this thing that just did not exist. It was the biggest scam ever.
I'm free, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be your new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality.
Okay, so here I think he's talking a little bit about the McDonald's corporation. So he didn't even actually show it, but property is the one thing that has massive value no matter what, whether it's for the corporate world or it's for residential property. If you think about it, Walmart, McDonald's, they're not food or grocery or food. They are actually real estate companies because Walmart buys land and then builds on it. McDonald's buys the land and then rents it out to their franchisees. And so that's how they make a lot of their money. Most of the money that the franchisees make is not very much at all. It's not very lucrative for them. Crazy, crazy stuff. Investing in property is a heck of a way to get very rich, very fast, but that's why it's so expensive and so hard to do. That's why a lot of corporations, bigger corporations, are buying up houses, and the housing market is so tight like that because they don't want people to be able to buy to own. They want people to rent forever, so you don't own anything. Same thing can be said for digital media, right? You can buy a Blu-ray, or you can buy a movie on YouTube, right? Most people will buy YouTube because it's easier and they can watch it anywhere, but you don't own anything. You own the right to check that out once in a while and watch it when you want, but they could turn that off anytime. Same with music. I have this huge Apple library. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not physical. It's not physical media. So if the internet's out, I lose all that unless I've downloaded it to my phone. Okay, if my phone dies, I lose all that. However, if I own a CD, I own like something physical, or even a vinyl record. If I own that stuff, I can actually physically play it anytime I want, and I have something tangible that has value. I can't sell or trade my MP4s or my Apple songs. I can't. It's not my MP3s, whatever. I can't do that. So I don't physically own it, even though I've paid the money to think that I own it.
4. Expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5. Why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well.
Sell everything. Expand, expand, expand. Like there's no limit to it. You just keep growing. Like there is a law of diminishing returns, which is you can only put in so much before you're doing worse, before you're not getting anything back out of it. And that's why you have to walk away from things sometimes. Well, when it comes to corporate greed, there is no limit because you just want to have higher and higher and higher value of your stocks. You want to pay more for the stocks. It's so crazy because I got such mixed messages when I was going to business school. It said that the purpose of business is to raise stakeholder value, which is people who have stake in the company, which are people who are impacted by the company. That goes all the way from the consumer up to the CEO. Anybody who has interest in the company is a stakeholder. So raise stakeholder value, that was something that was really drilled in. But then there was raise shareholder value, completely different thing. So depending on which class I went to, I was taught that one was the way to go, right? So even the people like myself that they're sending out in the world with these business degrees aren't 100% sure. So it comes down to your own morals and values and your ethics.
6. On, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7. Press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8. Big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10. The world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore.
So true. I mean, the greed will eat you up, and you'll become something that you don't even recognize anymore if you let it. And it's all to chase the American dream.
Rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame, 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 blame.
So here we have The Great Dictator, which was a movie that was 100% funded by Charlie Chaplin, and it was a mockery of Adolf Hitler and the dictator of World War II.
It's easier to
followed by him.
But point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
This pisses me off so much. Ren, dude, you're pissing me off, man.
This old.
So there we have it, Money Game Part 2. Moving on, we'll be watching Eden and Money Game Part 3. And I've got a whole playlist. You'll have to check it out. But I got, I think, 3 more songs to watch in this quote-unquote trilogy. So stay tuned. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you get out of this. Tell me what you find to be most fascinating about it. Is it eye-opening to you? Is it how you already felt? Is it changing how you feel? I think that the important thing here, and Ren makes it very clear, is to take the time to open your eyes and really think about what role you play in all of this and how you can change it. So, speaking of consumerism, before I sign off, I'll let you know that I do have merchandise that you can purchase, and I will have the links in the description. I also have a book that I wrote, and I mentioned earlier about Tesla and Einstein. I'll have that in the description as well. You should check that out. But until next time, take care of yourself and each other.